conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping and Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the Believe You Me podcast. The one and only Iron Lung Paul Felder, Philadelphia Eagles representative.
Go Birds. Go Birds.
Go Birds, indeed. Although that reference is lost on me. I know it's the Eagles. I know they're a football team. I know it's between Christmas and New Year. The Believe You Me podcast is still here. Michael Venom Page will also be here later. Paul, how the hell are you, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you, Michael? You look, I was saying before we started, you always make me look bad, but today in particular, you're making me look really bad, man.
Thank you very much.
I'm scrubbing it. Beard's not trimmed. Haircut's not there. You got a nice shirt on. The glasses are on point. So you're starting you're about to start 2025 off well, Michael. Good on you.
Well, you know, it's that time of the year, isn't it, where everyone starts talking about New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. Don't worry, we're not going to go into it. But, you know, I have been thinking with the last few months of the neck pain, don't worry, that's it. And then lying around, I thought, right, 2025. This is going to be the best year ever. And then I saw a video last week or an Instagram post. It says, if you're 45, you have lived 58% of your life. You have only got so much time left on this planet. I was like, oh my God. I'm 46. So I've lived about 59%. So I'm like, shit, that's it. That's it. New year, new me. Do you know what I've said? Do you know where we're going to go? I said to all the family, this is what we're doing this year.
What's that?
We're going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Ooh. How long does that take?
It's between 7 and 10 days. You camp in tents. You don't need any hiking experience. Anyone can do it. It's the tallest mountain in Africa. It's 19,000 and something feet high. You start off, you're walking through like the jungle and the rainforest. Then you get to like dry lands. Then you get to a rocky area. Then you get to the Arctic zone. And you have about 20 guides with you. They're like local people that carry all your stuff and cook for you and things like that. You sleep in tents. I'm like, we're doing it. We're doing it. And we watch YouTube videos on it. And as soon as Rebecca saw the snow, she's like, I don't know about this bit.
No, thanks. You had me on the tropical part, and then you lost her on the snow-capped peaks up at the top.
So anyway, whatever. So if there was a New Year's resolution, Paul, what would that be for you?
I think trying to balance more time with, similar to what you're saying, make more time for trips and things like that with the family. I think for 2025, for sure, especially as the kids are getting a little older and can experience things more.
Well, it's funny you say that, Paul, because that's kind of what prompted this, because my kids are getting older. Callum and Ellie, they're both in college now. Callum's 23. Ellie's 21. You know, we've got a few years with Lucas, but in a few years, or a couple of years or so, they're going to be working, they're going to be busy. So having a time to go away for a few weeks together, it'll be impossible. So I'm like, this year or maybe next year, we'll see. We're going to Kilimanjaro, baby. Now, you know, maybe we will, maybe we won't. And then you've got all the usual stuff. I'm going to work out more. I'm going to drink less. I say that a lot.
Yeah, it's 2:00 here. And I'll tell you what, I got my little mini fridge right down here where I keep a lot of beers and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to be on the podcast. I grab a beer and I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait till that. I'm going to try to do dry January. I always say that every year. We'll see.
Yeah. People talk crap about me because I say this a lot, you know, but it's like there's nothing wrong with wanting to better yourself. And it's not like I'm an alcoholic, okay? I just had my brother-in-law here. He's an Australian, right? They like to drink.
I know that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So when they left, I was like, well, our new year starts early. But you're right, Paul. It's not even January yet. We should have a beer at some point on today's show and toast in the new year. But anyway.
You don't have to push hard on me. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go.
But this is the thing. And we're on the road all the time. So
that's where it's hard, man. That's where it's really hard.
After the show.
You want to relax, and even if it's late, just like when we were in Florida, it's like, I'm not ready to go to bed after working and sitting down and calling fights for 6-7 hours. It's like, all right, I'm amped up. I just can't go right to bed. I'm not good at that, especially on the road. It's not like I'm not going back to my room in my house and sleeping. It's
yeah, exactly.
a nice, tasty beverage. Always nice.
Well, you got to enjoy yourself because I don't know if you know this.
A cheeky beverage, if you will, Michael. A cheeky.
I've lived 58% of my life. I've only got 14% worth of drinking time left. So let's go, baby.
Got to enjoy it.
Harrington, jump on the show, please, buddy. How was your Christmas? You have 30 seconds to explain. And tell me your New Year's resolution.
Christmas was absolutely wonderful. I got to spend a lot of time with family. It was none of it for the first time in a long time at my in-laws' house. It was like all at different people's houses. So we had these things to go and do every night. Very fun. And then, I had friends stay with us over the weekend. And that leads into my New Year's resolution, which is to link up with friends more. Especially, Brian was talking a bit of crap on video games before this started. But I do want to get a group together to play video games or just do something together, as a group of dudes, once a week. I think that'll be good for mental health in 2024.
How about meeting up in person and actually seeing each other with your eyes, touching, feeling, seeing, hugging, physical interaction?
With dudes? No, I'm good, man. Video games all day.
Don't need to be so childish, Harrington. well, best of luck in your quest to become an even bigger loner. I'm taking up hardcore video games.
Yeah,
for 2025. All right, okay. What's going on in MMA, Harrington? Obviously, there's been no fights. I don't know what you've been doing with your Saturday nights. I had a very, very relaxing day on Saturday. There's no fights this week, but Conor McGregor has been giving us something to talk about as usual.
So both he and Logan Paul have been liking and retweeting, interacting with posts stating that as part of a big tourism initiative in India next year, the pair will be fighting for reportedly a $500 million purse in India in a boxing match.
Thank you very much for setting that up and disappear. Paul. Now, I wasn't going to bring this up. In fact, yesterday I was looking for some content ideas for my YouTube channel. And I thought, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it because number one, all right, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And then I thought it's probably not. But then it started gathering momentum and they're all tweeting. And now if you Google it, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And it certainly seems like there's something to it. What's your thoughts?
I'm curious to see how they're getting around contracts, right? Obviously, Conor is still under contract with the UFC, and I don't see any benefit or upside really for Dana and the guys with the UFC on how that benefits them if he does that. But it's technically an exhibition, right? But there's a purse involved, so. Are there special rule sets? What makes it an exhibition versus a sanctioned pro boxing match? How do they get through that? And $250 million. I don't blame anybody for wanting to do it. I'm just curious to see if it's really going to be able to shake out because of all the legality behind contracts. And if the UFC puts their foot down on something like that, I imagine they legally can stop that from happening, especially since they've been trying to get him to fight in the UFC and that hasn't worked out. So I could understand if they weren't offering fights, then maybe it voids his contract. I don't know. It seems like they're trying to push it and make it so big that then something works out, but I don't really know. What do you think?
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, the one thing is that they've done this before with Floyd Mayweather, right? Yep. So there's a precedence been set. Logan's with TKO. Conor's with TKO, that's the parent company of WWE and the UFC. So technically, I can see a world where it goes down. And $500 million is an insane amount of money.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So fair play to both men if they were to achieve that bag. To use the terminology that the kids use. Anyway, I looked up this guy. Apparently, Mukesh Ambani is the guy that's going to finance this. He's worth $80 billion. He's one of the richest men on the planet. His house that he lives in is the second most expensive residential property on the planet, behind only Buckingham Palace, where the King of England lives. Recently, his daughter got married. How much do you recently his son, not even his daughter. His daughter got married. Now, we know the Indians love a big fancy wedding. This cost somewhere between 350 to 600 million on the wedding alone.
when you have the billions like that, that's nothing to these guys to be able to spend. So to put together some boxing match to get tourism going better in India, like, it's a no brainer for them to push that. It's the same thing. Same thing with Dubai, Abu Dhabi. These guys have so much money. They want to get more people involved. They're willing to throw crazy money to get people to come over there and experience things. So,
so because of that, I think there might be some reality to it. Apparently, it's going to be at the Wankhede Stadium. Cricket grounds hold 33,000 people. This is what I saw online. And as you mentioned, that's a drop in the ocean to these guys. It's
what about the actual fight itself? Like, do you think they're going to have? Are they really going to fight? I mean, that's the real question to me, because sometimes those exhibition matches, the way they lay the rules out, it's more of a kind of intense sparring match. Is there no headgear? Like what's going on there? And how do you think it shakes out? If they legit fought, I mean, obviously Logan is bigger than Conor, but Conor's, I mean, he's a much better striker than Logan.
Remember, Logan also fought Floyd Mayweather, and whilst he was twice the size of him, he did gas, he did get tired, and Floyd rightly won. He didn't stop him like he did Conor. However, that was a referee stoppage. Conor would destroy him if he was in shape, and that's the big thing. Is he going to be in shape? Do you need to? Does that get you up, in the morning to go train to box Logan Paul in an exhibition bout in a cricket stadium in India? Now, granted, it would be a massive spectacle. A lot of people would fly in from all over the world, and the sports washing element would probably be successful. At this guy's wedding alone, he had like Mike Tyson, Katy Perry. The VIP list dropped off a bit. I did notice that the Backstreet Boys were there as well. Started off as some VIPs. They were scraping the barrel. But they had Mark Cuban.
I'm surprised we didn't get an invite, man. Come on.
Oh, God, come on.
Yeah. Rihanna got $9 million to perform at the rehearsal dinner.
Wow.
$9 mil. These guys are throwing around a lot of money.
I'm available if he watches the show.
Me too. If you need a commentator, if you need someone to come and do some YouTube videos, give us a shout. The Believe You Me podcast live from Mumbai. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Go easy on the food, though. I've spoken to a few people that have done a bit of some like stunt work, working on films and stuff. A lot of time on the toilet.
Yeah, not good on the tummy. Not good on the tummy.
Good on the tummy. Speaking of, I want to go to India, though. It's supposed to be beautiful, and I'm sure that's the idea. I think Conor in his prime would absolutely destroy Logan Paul, but this isn't Conor in his prime. Hey, listen, fair play. I know a lot of people want to see Conor in the UFC for obvious reasons. But let's be honest, he's been there, he's done it. He's got the T-shirt. He was a two-weight division champion simultaneously, set the world on fire. He's done that. He'll never reach those heights again. And if you can get a claim to 250 million for an exhibition match where you don't even really need to train, where the stakes aren't even that high, where you're not going to get injured in a training camp, Jesus Christ. I got to say fair play to both men.
Yeah, I'm in a complete agreement with that. If you throw 250 million at me, I'll box anybody.
What wouldn't you do? I mean, listen, we do most things for 250 million. I mean, all right, don't answer that. Don't answer.
I don't know. I might, Michael. It's 250, man. Come on now. My family be set.
So what's that? I apologize. What's your wife's name?
Christine.
Christine, you got to divorce Christine. And you've got to marry Harrington and live with him for 5 years. Would you do that for $250 million? Because think of the upside. You and Christine could get back together and sail off into the sunset.
I'm pretty sure she's packing my bag right now upstairs to go live with Harrington for $250 million. Baby, I'll see you soon. All right, you can come visit.
Yeah. No, I'd probably do the same thing, but you got to stay with Harrington for 5 years. And if you don't, the contract's void.
Well, listen, he already talked about wanting to get into video games more, and I haven't been that into video games. I could learn something. Maybe that's probably what we'd spend some time doing. And listen, he better start learning how to ride a bike, because Harrington, if we get married and have to live together for 5 years for 250 million, we're riding bikes too.
Oh, of course.
We'll get a tandem bike.
Tandem bikes. You look really good. You look very 2025. All right, today's episode is sponsored by Orgain. Now, Orgain, they are protein shakes in a nice little convenient bottle. You've probably seen me sipping on it throughout this episode. Orgain believe in real nutrition that has the power to make a real difference to people's lives. That's why their products are handcrafted with high quality ingredients that nourish our body. And maybe most importantly, these things taste fantastic. This is the chocolate one that I've been drinking. It comes in a variety of flavors. And I'm telling you right now, number one, they taste great. A lot of protein shakes, you taste it and it tastes a little metallic. It can taste a little bit weird or off. And that is why, again, today's sponsor, Orgain, I recommend this very much. As an athlete or a former athlete, I still care about what I put in my body. So being healthy is a big part of my life. I'm not hardcore about it, as you know, but we all want to live longer and we want to live better. So having better habits in your life, like getting more nutrition in your diet, well, Orgain makes it very, very simple. Orgain's new 30-gram complete protein shake offers protein-packed real nutrition designed to satisfy your cravings without all of the sugar. Now, that's a big one because the sugar is the enemy at the end of the day. Plus, they are an excellent source of complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids. So with the new year just around the corner, you want to have a snack on the go. You want to have access to some great protein with all 9 amino acids. You want low sugar. And more importantly, you want something that tastes great. If you're on the go, a light breakfast, something after the gym, then give Orgain a try. There are no quick fixes when it comes to your health. If you want more protein, give Orgain 30-gram protein shakes a try. Head to orgain.com/believe and use the code BELIEVE for 30% off your order. That is the best offer that you are going to find, but you have to use the code BELIEVE to get 30% off. One last time, delicious, nutritious, absolutely fantastic, 30-gram Orgain protein for 30% off. Go to orgain.com/believe. Use the code BELIEVE to get 30% off. Anyway, it's that time of the year where the awards are given out. And we've seen them all over the place. But the UFC are giving their own award right now. So I clicked on the link and I thought, you know what we'll do? We'll pick out some awards. But when we clicked on it, there was only one category.
Yeah.
Harrington, do you want to just read out the nominations? I believe it's for submission of the year.
The nominations are Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier, DDP versus Israel Adesanya, Kayla Harrison versus Holly Holm, and the one that is far and away in the lead right now, Paddy Pimblett over Bobby Green.
So it looks like that is the last category that needs to be decided. I'm looking here on their website, and all the awards are decided.
Oh, okay. So that's why.
That's the only one we can see because that's why. I mean, listen, me and you were talking off air. It's Paddy Pimblett all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, that was slick, man. Anytime you pull off a triangle armbar situation like that and you put somebody to sleep the way he did, listen, that kid, that's where he shines. When he's on the ground, he's done it throughout his entire career. He is fun when he hits the mat, especially with the triangles off his back. And that to do that to Bobby Green, a lot of people had Paddy counted out. If you remember, people were really thinking he was going to get his ass beat by Bobby Green, and he went in there and just put him to sleep. So, I mean, that was my vote.
When you look at Islam, the way that he choked out Dustin Poirier, that was cool because it was Dustin Poirier, but it started with that big, like, kind of leg sweep.
Oh yeah, that was slick. That was slick.
Cool, but it was a head and arm, right?
Yeah, I think it was head and arm triangle, right?
Yeah, arm triangle. But it wasn't
just not as cool. It's not as cool. Yeah.
No. The way Paddy Pimblett did that was the slickest. However, Dricus submitting Izzy, doing that's something big. That no one else has been able to do.
As far as stakes go, like to pull it off, and it doesn't matter what submission, to pull off a submission over Adesanya the way he did that, in terms of what came out of the submission, that he's the winner there. But as far as the actual submission itself, if that's what we're talking about, then I agree. I think it's Paddy. But as far as, pulling that off in a title fight against somebody like Adesanya, that was massive, especially it was a good fight. He took his licks and then still found a way. That dude is so freaking awkward. everything he does just doesn't look like it should work, and he pulls it off in these fights and keeps beating these high-level guys. So props to him.
We didn't speak about Tyson Fury losing to Usyk, right? Because we didn't do a show last week. Did you watch it?
I have not seen it yet. Did you watch it?
I did, yeah. I did a live stream.
Was it close? I heard it was close, and I heard the judges, the way it was scored is really where the big controversy is. Like how they scored it for Usyk was kind of lopsided, whereas it was closer than that.
A lot of the punches Usyk blocked. A lot of Tyson's punches were blocked, so you got to land those shots. I thought Usyk clearly won it, so he's lost 2 in a row now. Fury's out there. He's kind of demanding a rubber match, but he's also saying now that the only thing that makes sense is to go over to the UFC and have a rematch with Ngannou. Am I getting that correct, Harrington? Or is it Ngannou calling for that? Because if I'm Tyson Fury, I do not want to go from losing 2 in a row to Usyk to then fighting
in a cage.
Francis Ngannou in a cage.
Yeah.
So I did see reports of Tyson Fury saying he was interested in coming over to the UFC, coming over to MMA, possibly fighting Ngannou. Certainly, though, the number one name on his list was John Jones. But Ngannou is the one who said the only thing that makes sense for him right now, the only fight he thinks he can get up for is a boxing rematch with Tyson Fury.
Yeah, it's just, we don't even need to say it. We don't even need to go into it. Do you think he's serious or just trying to make headlines? Because that is never going to happen.
It's not going to happen. And if it did, it is not going well for Tyson Fury. A boxing match, yeah, sure, all day against John Jones. I like your chances. I think you win that. MMA, he's going to kick your knee one time, man, and then like that, then he's going to take you down if he wants to. He could play around with you with that range. You know what I mean? It's different. Even the gloves are different. Like when we're boxing, even just striking somebody with boxing gloves on versus when we have those little gloves on, the distance control and how you have to fight is completely different. I don't think guys even understand that. Even if it was just a boxing match with MMA gloves on, it's a different world.
But the legs of Tyson Fury, they don't look like they could take a shin kick too well.
I don't think so.
But however, let's just play screw Tom Aspinall for 1 second. Could you imagine if Tyson Fury called up Dana White? I said, I've got no contract. I'm fine. I want to fight John Jones in the cage. I think that might be the only fight to gazump Tom Aspinall. Sorry, Tom, if you're watching.
Poor Tom. He's here and it's like, oh, come on. Don't even put it out into the world. Don't even put it out there. No, I don't.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But I mean, I'd buy the pay-per-view. Well, I would. I'd watch it for free because I get it for free because we work.
Usyk. Oh, you get it for free?
You do too. You just have to sign into that Fight Pass account that you get.
I don't get it for free.
You do.
I did get it for free.
You just gotta call. You gotta call Zach. I guarantee they get you set up. Yeah.
I've been paying for you and
Michael,
pay-per-views for years. Are you serious? Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I'm not lying to you. They can definitely hook you up with a Fight Pass, and we get the live feed, so it doesn't cut to the commercials or anything like that. Any fights, even if they're not on Fight Pass, I can watch the whole card streaming, and instead of it going to a commercial break, you can watch the in between in the corners and all, and I can hear you guys the whole time instead of when we're on air and they're like, hey, these walks are in commercial. When I'm watching the feed, I hear you guys talking the walks, and
you got to be careful what you say on those sometimes. I had no idea. If I was to put it together, that's thousands and thousands of dollars over the years. I'm really annoyed.
You need to call them and be like, I need X amount. Do the math. And be like, you guys owe me.
I need a rebate.
Thousands of dollars from me buying.
I
was too. For the longest time, I was buying them, and I was like, man, this sucks. And Zach's like, what do you mean you're buying pay-per-views? I was like, I'm buying pay. What do you mean? I can't watch them for free. He's like, yeah, you can. You just have to get your special Fight Pass account. But I had never heard of it either. So it's like this little secret that I guess is available for us, but isn't exactly put out there so regularly.
Well, it is now.
Yeah, you better.
It is now. Hey, I tell you what, I had no idea because every time, you watch the prelims and then it goes to the pay-per-view. And if I've got anybody over, any friends or whatever, and I don't have many of those, but if they're ever on a rare occasion, there's some friends in the house, and then I go, buy the pay-per-view, because she does all that stuff. People always say, you have to pay for the pay-per-view? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm just a normal guy. Like me or you.
Humble servant.
A humble servant. Paul, you're going to like this one. You are going to like this one. When I saw Harrington put this in the notes, I was like, geez, Louise, talk about ass-kissing Paul Felder. It's quite pathetic, to be honest. Harrington, I won't even allow myself to read this out.
According...
Put your background on, Harrington. You look better with your background on.
All right, I'll work on it.
If it's a big issue, don't worry about it. But
it's going to take me a second. I'll do it as soon as I'm off camera.
It's okay.
So, Paul, we may have an Oxford University study says that there may be a reason behind why you were able to take so much punishment in the cage and keep on coming. According to this new study, redheads have a 25% greater tolerance for pain.
But listen to this. Listen to this, Paul. This is so. Not only are you just inherently tougher, Harrington, take it away.
According to another study, also done in England, redheaded women have the best sex, with 41% in a study done achieving orgasm, the greatest of any hair color.
Wow, good for those ladies.
If you're no, but the way it says here, it says basically. An Oxford study says redheads have a 25% greater tolerance for pain, and they also have the best sex, with 41% of women saying that redheads make them come better than anyone else. I mean, I'm like, when he put that in the notes, I'm like, this is disgusting.
Sorry, ladies.
The gingers for the win. I mean, you need it, to be honest. I mean, you got bullied every day growing up.
It's nice when you get some positive feedback for being a ginger or a redhead, because you're right. When you're a kid, you do get tortured. As you do get older, though, you start finding these things out. They start doing studies about why we are the best and why we are so tough. And it does explain why I was able to take just absolute smashes to my face throughout my career, and somehow.
And the smashing in the bedroom. Have you found that to be satisfactory?
Yeah, that's been great, man. It's been great. It's been great. Yeah, no complaints.
Growing up, the gingers that I knew, they were psychotic. I know you're a fiery dude. Yeah, there was one guy, I won't say his name, lives in the town where I'm from, and at school he was bright ginger man, but he was a psycho. He was a psycho, and he took out a slate from like a roof and threw it sideways, and it cut right into me and everything. He was a nasty bastard.
Well,
I'm not saying.
I apologize on our behalf for that one.
But there you go, Paul. Basically,
I knew about the pain tolerance thing. I heard about the pain tolerance thing. Anytime I'd get done, if I did, and Christine had heard that before. She's like, you guys are literally scientifically shown to be able to just tolerate more pain. Because I don't know. I feel like I complain about the littlest thing, but I've been beat up pretty good and keep going.
So where do we draw the line though? Because I have a little bit of ginger in my beard.
Yeah. I think then you have a little bit. I don't know if you get 25%, but maybe you get like 5. Maybe you get a little.
Rebecca! She's got no problems, baby. She's got no problems.
No, come on now. Not looking like that. Look at you. You're looking great.
Oh, come on.
What anyway, neck problems?
There we go. Harrington, come on. Give us another one. Number 4. What's going on there?
This is fun news. Just announced over the weekend, we are getting a sequel 20 years in the making. Happy Gilmore 2 coming to Netflix in 2025. Pretty exciting stuff.
Happy Gilmore 2. How would you put that in the notes? Probably because I always just drop some Happy Gilmore quotes and stuff like that.
What a gem that one was.
But he saw that and He put it in the notes. Sorry, I saw that. And I thought, oh, yeah, we can discuss this a little bit and I can take the piss out myself. I auditioned for it. I've known about this for months. I auditioned for it, did not get the part. And the only reason why I think I didn't get the part was because it's a golf film. And it was like playing a cameo, like an eccentric, bad-tempered golfer, which I thought I can do that. But then at the end of the self-tape, you had to show your demonstration of the golf swing. I've never played golf in my life.
Well, I wouldn't have got the part either, Michael, because it's atrocious. It's atrocious. I had to play a golfer one time. Well, not a golfer, but I did a play years ago, just out of college. And I played this kid from Boston in this like literary society set in the 60s. And I was always on stage with like a putter and a cup, just practicing my putt. And even that, I had to have all the guys that were in the show with me that played golf show me how to even get through that little bit. That was so bad.
Do you play golf now and again?
No, never. I think I played it one time with Donald Cerrone when I was out there for a training camp in New Mexico. And I think I tried a few different holes and I was just, all right, I'll hang out in the golf cart and watch you guys play because I was so bad.
Redheads don't do this. We're way too.
Yeah,
we don't play.
Well, come on now. Yeah, give me an endurance sport to brutalize myself.
But I've been thinking about taking it up. I mean, the problem is I only have one eye, so the depth perception thing. But I'm looking for something that Rebecca and I can do. And this sounds, as we're getting older, do you know what I mean? Just get out and about, a little hobby, a little bit of golf. Go do 9 holes.
And it's fun, dude. Yeah, you can have a couple drinks. You can eat. There's food there. Like it's a good time.
What do you do with your wife, you and Christine? What do you do to like relax or like when you're not, when you're not commentating fights, when you haven't got the kids? What do you do?
Well, I mean, we got a couple shows that we'll get into. Yeah. And other than being a redhead and just, making her world amazing.
Just rocking the world.
Other than just constantly pleasing. Just date nights and stuff right now. We don't have any particular hobbies, but just some shows we watch together and then the occasional night out, getting some food. And we have a little craft beer bar bottle spot that we like to go to and try new beers and stuff like that.
Very hipster of you, Paul.
I know. I am that today. My God, I feel it with the hat.
Tweak your mustache.
I know. I could. Look, I'm breaking. I got my skin's all. I'm a mess today, man.
No, you look good. You look good. Harrington, you jumped on the screen. There you go. There you go. Whenever I do the top button, I always get abuse. In fact, in Tampa, I showed up for dinner one night. And I had a nice shirt on with the top button done up, and I was ridiculed and abused. You look very Nate Diaz right now.
I feel like I could part of the Diaz army right here.
You look like one of the bad guys from Training Day.
Yeah. Only tougher and better with the ladies.
There you go. So the reason I jumped on before, two things. One, we've actually discussed on the show before what happens when MMA fighters take up golf, and it doesn't go well for the golfers. And then the other thing I jumped on was the reason I put that in there was not because you're constantly quoting Happy Gilmore. I was interested in what other 90s movies you think deserve a sequel today. Like, I mean, nobody thought we were getting Happy Gilmore 2. What else would you desperately want to see?
I don't know. Big Trouble. It's an 80s. Big Trouble in Little China 2.
I love Big Trouble in Little China. That's such a good one. That was I think that was late 80s, right? But that was I love that movie. I used to watch that movie when we were younger with my older brother, and I remember the creature at the end used to scare the hell out of me. They have to fight at the end. Yeah.
Because I do like movie appreciation night with Lucas, and I sit him down.
Show him the old ones.
Yeah. Big Trouble in China was one of his favorite. His favorite of all time that he loves was the original Alien, 1979. Yeah. Have you seen that, Paul?
Yeah. All the aliens, even some of the newer ones I just watched. I forget that they all had crazy names now and Alien this, but the one where they're on that planet and the cyborg guys is kind of like cultivating them and kind of goes rogue. That one, whatever that one was, I thought was good. I watched it on one of the planes at one of the flights we were on. 90s movies that could use a sequel. I would have to I'd have to think about it.
90s
Harrington, what are
movie.
some good classic 90s movies off the top of your head?
Commando. Predators had
imagine
about
to do
5
that?
million sequels.
So the ones that came to mind initially.
When was
were-
Demolition Man?
Demolition Man was 92. Wesley
Come on
and
now.
Wesley and Sly are still at it.
Just Sly and Wesley Snipes, old versions of them coming back at it in the future. Explain the three shells. Explain the three shells. We need to know what were the three shells.
Listen, I love Arnold. I love Stallone. We don't want to see them two trying to relive their youth. Let them age gracefully.
You got to make it like a rompous comedy instead. Demolition Man 2.
We did do Die
Wait,
Hard.
did somebody die in that one though?
We did Die Hard in our house Christmas Eve.
Yeah, dude. We were talking about watching because that's the whole debate, right? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not?
Yeah.
And it's like it has become one, even if it wasn't intended, obviously, at the time. It is now. Come on now.
It is.
It's about a man going across the country to see his wife and then save her from terrorists to spend Christmas together. That's the most
Right.
Christmas movie possible.
Yeah,
It's very,
I'm on
very
board.
Christmas
I'm on board now. But when I was younger, I didn't
Indeed.
think of it as a Christmas movie. But now, at
So the
40, I do.
reason I thought Harrington jumped on, because you mentioned Donald Cerrone before. Donald Cerrone has officially entered the testing pool and says that he will be targeting a mid-2025 return. He's had 48 fights, I believe, in total. He wants to get to 50. He wants to have 2 more fights. And the reason there's an interesting discussion here is because obviously he was quite vocal and quite open about quitting leaving mixed martial arts, coming out of the testing pool, getting on testosterone replacement therapy and, a bunch of other good stuff. And he was like,
He was advertising it.
He's like, I feel great. I look gigantic. I'm going to be a movie star. And now he's coming back to the UFC. Thoughts?
Donald was a massive pivotal part of my UFC career and kind of getting me to where I was. And I would tell him this too. At what cost, man, to get to 50 for what? You've got 48 fights. I don't know if it's worth it for your health to come back. Who are you going to fight? Do you want wins? Because you're not getting them, against any of the top guys right now after that long of a time off.
Well, he said it's going to be at 185 more than likely as well. Maybe 170.
That worries me more.
Likely.
That worries me even more because, really, obviously he's past 40. I think he's 41 or 42. He was just a little bit older than me. And he's not a 185er, you know what I mean? Like he got to 185 because of the things that he was doing post-career, which is fine. He wasn't in the testing pool. He wasn't fighting anymore. But then when you come back, I think we got to really see how he's going to feel, let's say this spring when he's been passing all the tests and off of any kind of performance enhancers for so long, because I don't think it'd be at 185 after you really start to train, you really start to do things the way you're supposed to.
That's the interesting thing because, of course, you step away from the sport as fighters. We all love to compete. You're always kind of still flirting with the idea. If my neck got better, I'll be like, I'll do a boxing exhibition bout in Mumbai
in India?
for $250 million. Let's go. I'm all about it. But so you're feeling good. And obviously he's on the extra stuff so that all the injuries go away. Recovery's fantastic. You're training well. And you're like, of course, the money is always nice and the attention and having a purpose.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of one of the things that all fighters struggle with. When you retire, it's not just the money, but it's stepping away. This is what you do. This is who you are. This is what we were put on this planet to do. And then all of a sudden, you can't do it. And I know he's done some movie stuff, but as we know, that's real hard work to find consistently. So he's like, you know what? I'll come back. I'll do a couple of fights. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And I just hope that he, if it does go through, that he's fully committed to doing it right and training properly and feeling good. And I hope he doesn't just do it because Donald was always injured when I was training with him, and he was just tough as shit. He didn't care. He'd show up he was that guy. Doesn't matter. He's showing up. So if things do go south and things are hurt, I hope he makes the right call.
If I had to pick him one person to come back, I've mashed the top button, by the way. I thought I'm looking very slobbing next to you. I apologize. It's New Year's Eve, guys. It's not, but it is tomorrow. The one person, there it is, there's Nate. The one person, the one matchup that I think most people would sign off on is, if he's even still not retired, it would be a rematch with Tony Ferguson.
Yeah. But that would have to be at least at 70, right?
Yeah, but last time Ferguson was 170 against Chiesa.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That could make sense. And that's a guy like, all right, you lost to him years ago. Tony's been on a really rough skid, really, really rough skid for a long time. Really, it's two guys that the UFC doesn't really even want to be fighting. So what better way to get them both their fights on their contracts than to give them that? And that's the other thing. I was talking to somebody about it, and they're like, well, what is the UFC? Do they want him to do it? I'm like, even if they don't want him to do it, and he has contracts on, he still has fights under his contract, they can either give him the fights or they have to release him and he can go fight somewhere else. So that's where it's, and I know Donald doesn't want to do that either. He wants them to be under Zuffa. He wants them to be 50 fights in the organization, but they kind of are in a tough place. Dana's been vocal about it, that he doesn't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But he can say that, but again, they'll probably honor it if he's passing tests and really wants to do it. Cause if he's got a contract, they'll honor it.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up because Dana was asked about it recently and he said, listen, we're not really interested in that. We like Donald. He's been great for the company. If he wants to make money, if that's what he's looking for, then maybe we can sit down and try and help him out and find some paths forward for him and stuff like that. But obviously, Donald's obviously put his opinion forward and said, no, I really, really want to do this. It's important to me. So listen, I respect that of Cerrone for sure. Everybody loves and remembers Donald Cerrone. Some of the fights that he gave us were and the performances were unreal. Do you know what I mean?
Oh man,
but it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, man. He was my favorite fighter, and then I got to meet him at a seminar, and that's how I started training with him. I got to spar with him at a seminar in Philly. Got to know him and Leonard Garcia. They invited me out to when it was the Tap Out Ranch back in the day, living in bunk beds with a bunch of other random fighter dudes that just wanted to go to that camp. And then when he started doing the BMF ranch, I was there when we built the cage, we put the mats in, we put the frames for the wall mats. Like I was there for all that stuff. And I even texted him when the rumors started coming out that he was saying that he wanted to come back. I was like, are you really doing this? He's like, you want to go old school and get like the group back together for a little BMF ranch? So
you
if he
said
does
that?
do it, we both talked about it. So I mean, if he really does do it, there's definitely a chance. I would love to go out there for a week to the old ranch where I'd stayed so many times and just train with him a little bit, just for fun. And we're smarter now. We won't beat the crap out of each other like we did back then.
Can you get him on the podcast?
Oh, I could hit him up for sure.
Hit him up. Let's get him on. Now, the problem is YouTube. You got to be careful. Donald is very
watch your Cowboy. He doesn't hold back too well.
And that's what I love about him. I was sitting at a bar in Vegas, me and my wife, and he came over, and he'd had a few. You know what I mean? But we've all been like that in Vegas, so there's no judgment. And he was like, he was giving his opinions on stuff. I'm like, okay, right, boom, let's get out of here. Hey, listen, all the best, whatever he does. If he comes back, I just hope they throw him in there with someone like, I say throw him in, that sounds bad. Someone at the end of their career.
Yeah, somebody that makes sense. That's in the similar situation, like you're talking about, end of career, or just a fight that he never got to have, or a rematch that he'd like again. Something fun. It's still a fist fight. It's still MMA. It's dangerous. We know that no matter what. But you're right. If you're going to come back after a long layoff and you just want to get those two fights, let's give the fans something that is going to excite them and is not going to just throw Cowboy in there against some young, hungry up-and-comer. It's like that. That's not why he's doing it. He wants to get those 50 fights. And
Paddy Pimblett,
I don't know if it's a good idea, but I would support him in his decision. And I would like to go do a little training camp with him if if it ever happens.
Good. I would love to do that. I did the Jackson podcast last week. Or was it the week before? I don't know, whatever it was. And just going into the gym environment again, it felt good. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The guys were there. Oh, by the way. So I'm on the Jackson podcast with Rampage Jackson and Luke Rockhold, who's the co-host on it, which I had no idea was going to be on there. Because obviously me and Rampage, we go back a long way. We were training partners. There's a lot of water under that bridge with a team that we were with. That were, without getting into it all, there was a lot of money went missing and stuff like that. So I did my thing and they kind of brainwashed him. And so he was talking a bit of shit. And I'm like, Rampage, trust me, I'm telling you the truth. And anyway, so there was a lot of stuff to discuss on this podcast. And then the night before, they're like, oh yeah, but no, Luke Rockhold post a picture or a video of him head kicking me and finishing me in Australia with the caption, "See you tomorrow." And I'm like, for fuck's sake, I'm getting ambushed. Anyway, so we went on the podcast and Rockhold was great. Rampage was great. But just going into the gym, because they have a gym there as well, I was like, I do miss being in that environment. Just being around the guys, hitting the bag, sparring, training, prepping for fights. I miss it.
And I think that's the funny thing, right, Michael, is so many guys always bring up money when guys come out of the woodwork. They want to come back. They want to do this. And of course, like you said, making big paychecks for fighting is fun, but we all got into it broke. We all got into it fighting how many fights, making absolutely nothing before we got to the higher levels. And we still did it. We still loved it. We still lived that life. And it was because of that. The camaraderie, the shit talk, the training, the process, the day in and day out, having something to look forward to, like you're talking about. So, I mean, when I think about it too, I miss the camps. I even dare say that I miss the days before weigh-ins when food got small, the hunger, the emotions that you went through leading up to it, the things you thought about, like all that stuff mentally that you even go through leading up to it. I think we miss some of that, right? Like getting on that scale, being dehydrated, like shit like that.
I miss, as you mentioned there, the camaraderie and stuff, but the shit talk, the banter. They're just lads ripping on each other, talking shit, getting the piss taken out of you. That's what I miss more than anything. And not just that, just being around, and this sounds very toxic masculinity, but just being around a bunch of guys and dudes and just, women are welcome as well. But you know what I'm saying? A bunch of guys where you can be totally uncensored and you're having a laugh and no one gives a shit. And of course you're training and you're working out and stuff, but just that kind of environment. And it's like being in the bar with your friends. It's the same kind of vibe, Yeah. I do miss that very, very much.
I was even just talking to, I texted Sean Brady today because he just did a Fury grappling match on Saturday and got a submission, just making a little extra money on the side. And, I keep saying I do want to go back in there. I want to hang out with those guys and just kind of be a part, because there's so many UFC guys now out of that gym in Philly at Marquez MMA. And, I miss it, but it's just, it's tougher.
Didn't Brady call out Leon Edwards as well after that?
Yeah, he finally came out and made it official that he'd be willing to, and said he wants to go into London and basically fight him in his home country and get that fight. And that's a matchup we were talking about as a possibility. We still don't know what they're doing with that London card officially. So smart on him to throw it out there. I mean, who knows if he'll get it, but.
Jack Della Maddalena, he's in conversation as well, because apparently he was meant to fight Usman, but I'm seeing online, I haven't heard anything, but I'm seeing that that's not happening now for whatever reason. So Leon versus Jack, Leon versus Jack, that could be the main event in London. Paddy Pimblett, he's teasing that he's going to be fighting Michael Chandler. What do you think about that?
I mean,
I think it makes a lot of sense.
It'd be huge. Michael needs a fight. I mean, Michael needs to go and get a W, you know what I mean? And everybody's saying they can beat Paddy. Well, there you go. And this is an opportunity for Paddy Pimblett to get a huge spot and a huge, a counterpart that's got a lot of eyeballs on him. And, I don't know, man. If they start grappling and Paddy's slick, he could definitely put Chandler in some precarious situations.
Correct. But he just went 3 rounds with Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira didn't catch him. So one would think one would think, although you're sitting there with your top button doing your best Nate Diaz going, man, that fool didn't catch me, man. I elbowed the shit out of him, man. You know, I saw Grant Dawson. I saw a little clip on Instagram or something, and he was talking and he was getting asked about Michael Chandler, and he was complaining about Michael Chandler being as highly ranked as what he is. He said, this man does not deserve to, and by the way, this is Grant Dawson's words, not me. He said, Michael Chandler doesn't deserve to be ranked number 7 or number 8, whatever he is. Who has he fought? Who has he beaten? He said he's had 2 wins in the UFC against Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson. And then, of course, he has had 4 losses. 2 wins, 4 losses. But the losses to Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Poirier and Oliveira again. The Poirier fight, the Justin Gaethje fight, they were 2 of the best fights of the year. You know, but anyway, but he does have a point that Chandler does need a win.
He does have a point. And I like Michael Chandler. I want to watch him fight all the time. He's exciting, but you haven't really beaten anybody yet to be in that. And I think that's even why the UFC complains about the rankings all the time too. It's what keeps that spot.
Losing a fight in an entertaining fashion. And again, I'm not ripping on Michael Chandler. It's just the reality of the situation. When you lose a fight, regardless how entertaining it is, regardless of whether you get fight of the night, regardless of, like, let's say it's the last fight of your deal, and the UFC are like, well, that fight was awesome, so we're going to give you another deal. It doesn't matter. Yeah. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter for the fighter, rankings. Yeah. You lost. You know, so he does need a win. And when you look at the rankings, I mean, a fight with Paddy Pimblett, I thought this makes a lot of sense. Paddy Pimblett tweeted or said on his YouTube or something, see you at the top, which is a line that Michael Chandler uses a lot. But I was like, really? Are they going to put Chandler on a fight night in London? Because he is a pay-per-view draw.
Yeah, that's where I don't see it happening. I mean, as far as the matchup, it's like, you know, I have no problem with it, but I don't see that. I don't see that from the company side of things to use him for that. If it was Paddy and Chandler on some big pay-per-view card on the main card, that, you know, that's fun. Yeah. But I don't know if they're going to send him to London on a fight night like that. I'd love it. It'd be a lot of fun.
That's a big fight. Think about it, though. Imagine that on a pay-per-view. I mean, in London, it doesn't matter where it is. It's a big fight. But as you mentioned there, Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett going head-to-head on a pay-per-view. I mean, that's going to sell some pay-per-views. Simple as that. Yeah. And I'm looking at the rankings. I mean, Paddy's ranked now. He's number 13. He's 13.
It's not even all that far-fetched then, realistically, if Chandler's number 7.
Yeah, Moicano's fighting Beneil Dariush. Gamrot's number 8. I don't really want to see Michael Chandler having to defend takedowns against Mateusz Gamrot. However, this is the sport. In terms of fun matchups, Paddy versus Chandler, I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, has Chandler said anything? I don't think he's come out and said anything, right?
I don't know, Harrington, and you've got your ears on the grindstone. What's the expression? Nose to the grindstone?
No.
Ears?
It's got to be
there?
nose.
Is Harrington even there? Is his nose?
He's playing video games.
Is any part of you on the grindstone?
My nose is firmly on the grindstone. The only news I'm seeing about Michael Chandler is that fans are tweeting that they will see him at the top of the Taj Mahal after the Conor McGregor news. Michael Chandler. Okay, hold on. Michael Chandler did drop that he is calculating his next move in the wake of the Paddy making that thing. So no confirming, no denying.
Yeah,
he's always calculating.
He's calculated. I mean, bro, you've lost 4 out of your last 6. just take the fight you get offered. I mean, I love Chandler. I do. He's awesome. He's value for money. But to be fair, Grant Dawson's got a point. You got to win a fight. Just more for his own mental health than anything. Yeah. You know, when you're done in this sport, you don't want to say, do you know what? I wasn't here for a long time. I was here for a good time, and I made some money. You want to be able to say, yeah, I made some money. I put on some great fights, and I bloody well won those fights.
Yeah. You want to get some of those dubs. There's no doubt about it.
Harrington?
So also worth noting, the Chandler, the exact quote is, "The new year is fast approaching. Calculating the next moves and reaching for growth. Walk on. See you at the top." Walk on, obviously the Liverpool fight song, correct?
Yeah, walk on. You'll never walk alone.
Okay.
Yeah.
But walk on is part of that, right? Like that's a refrain in the song, I believe.
Walk on with hope in your heart.
There you go.
Never walk. Yeah, it is. Walk on. I'm there, baby.
Yeah, Michael, you missed your
Chandler
call.
going down UFC London. We've worked it out. We've
Get him on the show. Get him on the show.
Engineered. I've tried getting Paddy on the show.
He's too big.
He's too big, man. I've tried getting Chandler on the show.
He's too big.
He's too big, man.
He's at the top.
He's at the top. But guess who's not? Guess who's a man of the people, timed to a T. The one, the only MV goddamn P. What's up, Mike? How you been, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Merry Christmas. Happy
You
New
too.
Year.
You too.
Paul
to you
Felder,
too.
Michael. I'm sure you guys know each other.
Yes.
Yes,
How you doing?
hello, sir.
How you doing, man?
Good, dude.
Mike.
Thanks for coming
Mike.
on.
No problem.
How was your Christmas?
Yeah, very nice, man. Very, very nice. Very, 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 very nice. Got to travel around a bit, see some of my mom and family, and then spent time with my partner and her family. So it was really lovely.
I was going to say, where were you this time? Were you in Florida? Were you in Turks and Caicos? It sounds like you were just in grimy London.
Just in grey London, but traveling for after this fight.
Now, speaking of London, and Paul, just jump in whenever you want, mate. Speaking of London, we were just talking. We're trying to extrapolate what fights are going to be on UFC London. Mike, when are the UK fans going to get the MVP experience at the O2 Arena? Come on.
I know. It's just bad timing at the moment. It's an opportunity for a really good fight. Obviously, Shara can only fight in specific places, and I wanted to kind of get a jump start on the beginning of the new year. And then, I was hoping that they pushed it to April because there was talks of the UK card being in April, and I was like, that would have been absolutely perfect. But unfortunately, I'll be there obviously supporting the guys, but not this time.
Yeah, no. All good, mate. All good. I'm only teasing. That's a big opportunity, man. Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season / UFC, Shara Bullet. I mean, that is an incredible fight. Tell me about, what do you make of Shara? I mean, who was the last person that he beat with that crazy
Petrosian.
Yeah, Petrosian.
Yeah.
That was he's super talented, man. Like up and coming star. Really confident in his stand up game. But so am I. So I thought that would be make for a great exchange.
So
do you think that's the perfect? Sorry, Mike.
No, please.
It's the perfect matchup. Do you think this is the one where you really get to show out and kind of show the UFC fans who maybe haven't been as familiar with you up until now when you finally entered into the this organization? Do you think now this is the guy to really showcase the craziness that you bring to fight?
Yeah. It's definitely looking like it, definitely, because Shara, like I said, he's very confident in his striking ability, and I think he's going to be 100% in on trying to showcase his talent against mine. So this, when people are, coming for me, it definitely allows me to be more myself. If you're just going to go with, game plan A, it's perfect.
So Kevin Holland tried to take you down. Love Kevin, by the way. Shout out Kevin. But, you're a wrestler now. Ian Machado, Gary, we know how he got the job done, turned into a wrestler. Do you think there's any chance that this guy goes for the single, goes for the double, switches to a high crotch? And if he does that, you're like, bro, what are you doing? This is not what the people want to see.
You know what? If it does, it means the fight's going my way. But and aggressively my way, because I think he will be a lot more stubborn in believing in his ability. So I think I'd definitely be landing some crazy shots if he decides to go for a takedown. Because, like I said, I think in his mind, he believes he's the best when it comes to the striking game. So it will take a few knocks before he decides to change that. And maybe it might be too little, too late. So I doubt it, but like I said, I think he'll be very bloodied up if he is going for a takedown.
Well, listen, that fight's going to be incredible, Mike. I can't wait for it. And I think I speak on behalf of everybody. We know what we're going to get. Two incredible strikers giving us something to witness, man. It's going to be incredible. So last time we did see you, though, was Ian Machado Gary. I don't think we've spoken. You haven't been on the show since then. Give me your thoughts on that whole situation, Mike.
Yeah, it was a frustrating night for myself. A few annoying stuff in the build up happened. No excuses. Got in there, still ready to go. And for me, it was more annoying because of silly decisions that I made. In the grappling side as well, there's a couple of things that I did that was just like, I just wouldn't do normally. It was very annoying, which made him kind of, dominate in that space and not allow me to kind of make the correct decision to at least get back to my feet quicker. And frustrating night, but I'm still here. I think I showcased how fast I am. Everyone's commenting on my age and so on and so forth, but I think I've proven the point that really doesn't have a play a factor in when I step in the cage and start striking somebody. So again, annoying little bump in the road, but we keep moving.
Mike, how do you balance that, right? Where there's things that clearly you want to still be improving upon when it comes to, obviously, it's still mixed martial arts at the end of the day. You're going to be facing guys that are going to try that, even if it's not Shara Bullet. How do you mix in that, still trying to evolve that yourself, but then preparing for a guy where most likely it's going to be a back and forth striking battle? Has that been a difficult balance, or is it just doing the same routine and sticking to it?
I'm going to answer that for Mike.
Yeah.
You know what you do? You go out there and you grapple Carlos Condit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I saw some highlights of that.
Yeah.
How was that?
Evolving.
How was that? Carlos is a pretty good grappler too.
Yeah, Carlos is good, man. Carlos is good. It was good. It was good fun, and I think I just needed that. I just needed a moment to just sit down and just focus on just grappling for a moment, because, as you say, a lot of times, I'm facing opponents. It's very game plan specific, and obviously, I'm trying to always angle myself back towards where I'm going to be the best at, which is the striking area. So, obviously, I'm grappling all the time, but like I said, it's just very specific. So I'm comfortable grappling, but I wanted to just dedicate even more time to it. And to be fair, I can even right now during this camp, I feel so much better grappling already. Still continuing to learn the grappling, because that's forever changing, man. I respect grappling so much, man. I still don't get how people are coming up with new creative ways to submit people. It's just, the game is just constantly evolving. It's amazing, and I love it. But yes, as you say, I have to. You have to balance it out. It has to be dedicated towards what type of opponent I'm going to be going up against next. But at the same time, I have to keep improving. It just feels like it's very slow. It's a slow improvement because I'm not completely focused on it.
Yeah, you're still in it. You're still fighting.
Yeah, you're still in it. But that's why I wanted to just take a beat and face someone in grappling.
Dude, that's a fight I would have loved to have seen back when Carlos was at his peak.
Yeah,
and if you were around that because he was a guy that he wasn't the sharpest, but man, he was a dog. He was
a grinder, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved Carlos back in the day, man. Loved him.
He's a boss. I love it.
And he's got good grappling. I mean, Carlos Condit's ground game is very underrated. I remember we were in Afghanistan and he was teaching a seminar to the troops and he was showing some like really high level technical stuff. So fair play. Well done on that.
Thank you.
New Year's Eve coming up. MVP. We know you're a classy guy. Come on, what are the plans? What are the plans?
It's like weird you say that because only today that I really kind of thought of potentially something. But to be fair, this year it's been such a hectic year in a good way. We've like for both me and my partner, it's been an amazing year. It's only when we look back on it, we're like, damn, we've actually done quite a lot this year. In 2 weeks now, a little bit more, we're actually set to get married under Islam, shall I say?
Whoa! No way.
Yes, so we're doing our nikah in a few weeks, just before I end up flying out as well. So it's been a hectic year. So we kind of New Year's was supposed to be, we said it was just gonna just chill, to be fair, but we're going to Derek Trezora's house. He's doing a little thing at his house, so we're just going to go spend some time with him, friends, chill for a bit, and then come home.
Oh, that's amazing, man. Well, first off, congratulations.
Congrats,
so is that going to be a Muslim wedding?
Yes, we're doing it slightly backwards. We're doing a Muslim wedding first, and then we'll do our conventional, engagement and then marriage. Probably 2026. We're looking at. Yeah.
That's well, congratulations. She's a beautiful lady. I've met her a couple of times. She's fantastic. She really is. Wow. Incredible. So you are doing something special coming up soon.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, my man. All right, well, listen, we won't keep you too much longer, Mike. New Year's resolutions for 2025. Stay undefeated. Beat all your opponents. Be a good husband to your wife. But anything else?
Just onwards and upwards. It's constant, just progression. It's actually something that we both did before. Sit down and kind of went over what happened this year, things that we want to improve on for next year. And it's good to kind of do it with someone as well, because it keeps you accountable as well. Having to say things out loud as well, and just remind you of exactly where you want to be. And it gives you better, ideas of, exactly how you're going to walk that path. So, I'm actually excited for 2025, to be fair. Very, very, very excited. Obviously, it starts with nikah, us getting married, and then going to punch someone in the face.
So you sit down and you come up with specific things that you want to work on as a person, and then you hold each other accountable to. Yeah, that's great.
It's everything as well. So personal, financial, physical, like just everything. The whole circle, spiritual, everything that you want to kind of be better at and improve at, and then we literally wrote everything down, put it together, and then just go from there.
I don't know about you, but my list would be very long. I was like, everything I want to be better at as a person and all that. I'm like, oh God, how long you got? Mike, all the best. Congratulations on the wedding, the nikah, if I'm saying that correctly.
Yes.
And I'll see you in Saudi Arabia, my friend. Happy New Year.
Amazing,
man. Me too, man. I'll see you there calling that one, dude.
Oh, amazing.
Very forward to it, man.
See you both there, man. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. All the best to you.
Same to you.
Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Take it easy, Mike. Bye-bye. I mean, could you do that? I mean, fair play to Mike. I mean, he's a very classy guy. His wife-to-be, I've met her a couple of times. She's lovely. She really is. That seems like a very productive thing to do, to sit down and say, right, here's what I need to get better at. Here's what I need to improve.
Get the typewriter out, right? I got a few things that could work.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, because then I'm just setting myself up for disappointments if I write down too many things.
Yeah, Rebecca's like, you're never going to do any of this, okay?
Yeah, that's why I think that's why New Year's resolutions started with just kind of one thing, right? Because if you're not that type of person, it's like, all right, well, what one thing can you at least start having one goal? And then obviously that can branch out into other things, but, I
am doing dry January, okay?
Me too.
I am doing, my plan is...
trying.
My plan is, because I'm doing Saudi Arabia and then from there going straight to Sydney, right? So the plan, and it's a plan, is to have nothing, no alcohol, all of January. I fly to Saudi Arabia at the start of Feb, so there's going to be none there. Fly to Sydney, stay dry until after the
Sydney?
fight. Yeah.
Okay, after. Okay. All right.
And then
all right.
just release it and go mental and get arrested in Sydney. No. It's that front page of the Sydney Herald. UFC commentator Michael Bisping found naked in a fountain.
Hell yeah. That's a way to break the fast.
No. But that is the plan. The plan is to save it, because I'm meeting up with some friends. Rebecca's coming. She's Australian, so we're going to meet up and we'll have a few days in Sydney afterwards. So it'll be nice. Yeah. But all great plans. Are
you calling any fights are you calling any of these fights in January? Are you working
the 11th?
Yeah, me too.
Sweet. I'll see you there. I'm doing the 11th.
You're staying sober?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, hey, I'm that guy now. We both said it out loud to each other on the Believe You Me podcast, Michael. People are going to want to know if we behave.
And then the 11th, I'm commentating the fights. And then on the 12th, I don't know if it's the evening of the 11th, because that might help me. I'm flying to Colombia for a week to get stem cells.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and well, I'll tell you what, being sober, being drink free for that will only help any kind of healing process. That's actually probably really beneficial if you're going to do all that and be super cleaned up. It'd be good.
And I don't want to be rolling around Colombia, Medellin, hammered. Do you know what I mean?
Stay in safe places.
I'm staying in a safe place. It is New Year's Eve, Paul, and I couldn't help but notice earlier. Was that a frosty beverage that you have in your hand there?
You mean this one right here?
I mean, it's New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve. Rebecca! You bring me a beverage, please.
I'll tell you what.
Hamilton and Brian,
like
do you guys have any plans for New Year's Eve? Are you doing much? I know you're in Austin, Brian. Right?
Yeah, I'm out in Texas having fun hanging out over at the Creek in the Cave where I used to work in Long Island City.
Oh, yeah.
They moved down to Texas.
I've been to the Creek in the Cave.
In Texas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no. The Creek in the Cave. Where was it?
Long Island City. You came.
Wish them Happy New Year's. Rebecca, come here.
Happy New Year, Rebecca.
You camera ready. Come here. Say Happy New Year.
Hey, I can't hear.
Happy New Year.
Oh, sorry.
Happy New Year, Rebecca.
There you go.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas,
Happy
Rebecca.
New Year.
I sound like a man, sorry.
Oh, she's very sick at the moment.
Sick.
So we had Michael Venom Page on before, who, by the way, is getting married to his lovely girl that you met. Remember in London? Tell us from the Octagon. Just say yes.
Yes.
Now, what they're going to do is, and you do remember, what they're going to do, they're going to sit down and they're going to write a list and they're going to hold each other accountable. Do you think that's something we should do? And
yes.
What would be on my list for 2025, babe? What should be on there?
How long do I have?
There it is.
There it is.
You really want me to list everything?
No, I don't. I don't.
No, the show doesn't have time.
We don't have time. Paul's like, dude, I got things to do. I got people to see. Let's have a 4-shot, guys. Brian and Harrington, say Happy New Year to the boys.
Happy New Year, boys.
Happy New Year, Rebecca.
How did we all have a lovely Christmas?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Has Michael told you about our Christmas next year?
Oh, next year? No, he hasn't.
Climb Mount Kilimanjaro for Christmas?
No.
I told her about that.
Oh, God.
Told us about the little hike that he wants to take you on.
Yeah, honestly, I'm having serious doubts. And he's just going, it'll be fine.
It'll be
I'm
fine.
like, it's at least a 7-day massive journey. It won't be fine.
It'll be fine.
I don't want to do this.
You're doing it.
I don't want to do it.
I'm going to pull this away from you.
I haven't finished. I was going to say something else and I forgot.
What were we going to say?
What you're doing for Christmas next year?
Oh, yeah.
Well, no. No. And maybe, Paul, you can relate to this, and maybe you guys can. So on the day before Christmas Eve, we went to Bristol Farms, like a grocery store. Then we went to Target. Then we went to Best Buy. Then we went somewhere else. Then we went to Ralph's, another grocery store. Then the day after, we forgot some stuff, and we had to go back to Bristol Farms, and it was this and that, and we had to cook everything. And we did a ham, and we did a beef, and we did all this, and we did everything. And then, God bless them, the neighbours coming round and giving us gifts and stuff, and which is great, which is nice. But we've also got to then give them gifts and all the rest of it, and all the expense and all the money and all the stress and all the hassle and all the bullshit. You put it all together at the end of the Christmas day. We went upstairs. I said, you know what? Fuck this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this next year. We're flying to Costa Rica. We're sitting on a beach. We're having fish. Okay, and we're having a cocktail in our hand. Okay, and Christmas can go fuck itself.
I'm with you. Thank God for that. I'm done.
No, but it's the over-commercialization of it all, and you're just brainwashed by these massive corporations to spend so much money. Don't get me wrong; it's beautiful to sit with your family and your loved ones, and that's what's really important.
That's free, and that shouldn't be stressful.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
It's so much pressure. Yeah. Well, anyway, we're done. Okay, I'm leaving now.
Right, just
Happy New Year.
Right, bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
You're right. She wasn't camera ready. My God, Jesus Christ. Where were we? What were we talking about?
Cheers,
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
You got a nice little glass.
Classy.
That is very classy.
All right, try that again.
Sorry.
No. It's okay. You can put like a quick edit there, but Paul Felder, he has 2 sips. I'm not calling you a lightweight, Paul, but you have 2 sips of alcohol. You lose all connection. The headphones aren't working. Brian's going to have a nightmare in the edits later. My God.
You know what it is? It's I did a really short 5.5 hour bike ride on Saturday, and I used these, and they're just probably drained. No,
I mean, good for you. Anyway, tell us about Khabib Nurmagomedov.
So Khabib says that with the right training and discipline, as long as his mind is fully into it, he believes that Henry Cejudo could make another run at a title back at 125, where he won the belt, so many years ago. He says that the lack of star power at that division makes it so it's wide open. And if he's willing to actually commit and put in the sacrifice, Khabib thinks he can get him to title contention.
I mean, look, listen. Khabib, if anyone can do it, it would be Khabib. We've all heard how legendary and strict he is as a coach and how much he pushes his people. Henry Cejudo, of course, we know the credentials, 25 champ, 35 champ, Olympic champ. But he's struggled a little bit lately, and going back down to 125, being the age that he is. Khabib's a great coach, and apparently he takes no prisoners, but he's not a miracle worker. I'm not saying Cejudo can't do it. I mean, he lost to Merab. I think that was his last fight, right? Lost to Merab, who's now the champion, and he gave him a good fight. It's not like he got embarrassed. But we all have our time. We all have our peak. And mine will be Kilimanjaro this year. But do you think that Henry Cejudo climbs the Mount Kilimanjaro of the flyweight division?
No, I don't think it's going to happen. And I think a lot of it is kind of everything you just said there, where it's really about how committed are you going to be to make that weight class? I mean, what's he weighing now? How old is Henry now? I'm not even sure. He's
37, I'm going to say.
30, yeah, and for 25, 37. The way that these guys are kind of evolving, man, you know how it is. Michael, you get out of this game for a little bit and you go back, and the level has increased above and beyond. And I know he's probably still doing a little bit, but that's tough. I don't even know if he'd make the weight.
And again, it's kind of like Donald Cerrone, and it's like a lot of fighters. See, I got lucky. I mean, you're still working on your foray into the acting world, and you're a trained actor and stuff like that, and you're commentating, so you're very busy already. Yeah. Same with me. I had the decision made for me because of my eye. You know what I'm saying? And if I still had 2 functioning eyes and I was still, I wasn't in severe bloody neck pain, it'd always be there for me.
Yeah.
It would always be there as something that I would always maybe once or twice a year consider seriously, but of course now that conversation's closed. There's just no way. Yeah. So I don't have that carrot dangling all the time. And I'm sure it's annoying. If you're someone like Henry Cejudo, that probably could beat the majority of the division.
100%. And that, like you said, and even for me, the reason that it gets teased every now and then is because I left on my own accord. And physically I still could. So I can imagine somebody like him who's been a champ, been an Olympic champ, been double champ. You're always going to want to get back there, but you got to realize, like, why did you leave in the first place? You've got to always go back to time heals all wounds, they say, right? You're going to start thinking everything's fine again, but there was a reason that you needed to step away. There was a reason there was lack of motivation, and those things can all come back up. And if you signed on the dotted line, you get close to that fight, and then those things creep in, that's where it gets really dangerous as an athlete in MMA, right? It's not like you're going to come back for some race or some sporting event, or I'm going to try to make a run, playing basketball again. It's like in fighting, you got to be so into it to be able to succeed, because it's not just any other sport. It's a fight. You're getting ready to go fist fight a guy that wants to take your freaking head off. So when guys retire, and that's why Dane always harps on that same stuff. And again, we're probably going to get called company guys for this, but there's a reason if we're retired for a long time that he doesn't want those guys back, because something's missing.
And do you know what I find, and certainly now as I'm older, because I was slow to mature. I mean, I think, did Harrington put this in the notes? I think he did. It was a non-MMA story. No, it wasn't. It was just my incessant Instagram scrolling about men maturing much later than women. What was that, Harrington?
I did. A new study says men reach emotional maturity at around age 43. Women get there much faster by about age 32.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm 45. I'm 46 in Feb. And I'm finally starting to mature. I mean, you wouldn't think so judging by this podcast, but I turned into my silly version of myself for the show. But that's what I'm talking about with fighters. You get older. You start to mature. You don't necessarily want it as much. We're not the same person. I'm not the same person in there than what I was 20 years ago. Absolutely no way. There's no way I'm as animalistic, and maybe that might make me a more cerebral fighter, which would be great, But we do change inside, not just, physically in terms of your muscular development and stuff like that, but you mature, your mind changes, we become different people, and essentially we're not that same person anymore. Yeah.
More importantly than the physical, I think that's where the problem lies, is that hunger goes away. When you're young, you're in 20s, even 30s, even up to mid 30s, and even a little bit, you're just the desires there. As you start to get older, that killer instinct, if that starts to go a little bit, not a good place to be hanging out.
Yeah. I'll tell you another good place not to be hanging out. It's outside the Performance Institute when you're the bantamweight champion of the world and they won't let you in. This is why I'm the Segway champion of the year. Did you see Merab Dvalishvili's post? He was on Instagram. He went to go train at the PI. Apparently, Umar Nurmagomedov is in the PI already. They wouldn't let him in. The reason I bring this up is because Harrington put it in the notes, and I'm glad he did. He said, Islam and Umar posted on social media trolling Merab because he was denied entry to the PI to avoid a confrontation between the two men. Obviously, they fight for the belt in a few weeks. What is that image, Brian? Can you just click on that image, please, that Harrington put in there? Because I haven't seen it, and I don't know how Islam and Umar are trolling Merab. I did see the video of Merab. What does this say? Oh, it's them just inside. Yeah. Okay. Have you seen the video of Merab?
No.
Brian, if you can find it on Merab's social media, on his Instagram, please. Yeah, no, he was right there. He was like, this is security. And he was okay about it, but he was a little annoyed. He's like, they won't let me in. They won't let me in because we're going to fight. Don't worry. You can't run from me. You can't hide from me. To be fair, I think the UFC made the right call there because they don't
want to fight. And they do that all during fight week too. Like guys have to schedule it at certain times so that they don't have more of these conflicts.
And that goes down in UFC 311, first pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah, is that
Sarukian,
LA?
Islam
Right?
Makhachev, Merab Dvalishvili, Umar, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska. Oh, here we go. Let's have a look at this. Give us some sound, Brian. Oh, thank you.
And security don't let me go in because they said Umar Nurmagomedov is inside and they are protecting him. Don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna smash him before the fight. But January 18 is different story. I'm not able to go in UFC PI because I was supposed to get treatments for my injury. I was supposed to sign some cards. I was supposed to eat lunch with my friends. What the heck? I'm gonna smash this guy because of all the disrespect, all the lies he was saying. You better show up, Umar. Okay, today you will be protected. Don't worry, I'm not gonna punch you before the fight. But January 18, no one will protect you.
Yeah, I like this side of Merab. I love it. He's a wild dude because, like, whenever I speak to Merab, he seems so like polite and respectful. But then you see him here, and he's a little annoyed there. You see him going after people in the crowd.
Hey,
you know,
we talk about that mental savage, that hunger. There you go. He's still got it. He's in the prime portion of his career where that's all he can think about is breaking dudes, beating people up. So you love to see it. Dude, I love the character that Merab has turned into. And really, it's just him. He's just being authentic. That's how he is. And he's a respectful guy. He's super nice when you talk to him. But when it comes to his opponents and people he's going to fight and pissing him off, even if you're in the crowd, fighter in the cage, doesn't matter. You fuck with him, he's going to get you.
But you bring up a good point, Paul. And I'm glad you did, because it's like fighters, you have that chip on your shoulder. And you feel like everyone's against you. You feel like the world is against you. I know I did. I know I call it a victim complex or whatever, but I certainly did. And I thought, everyone's against me. Nobody wants me to succeed. Everyone at school talks shit. Everyone back home talks shit. And they all think I'm kidding myself that I'm going to become a professional fighter and make a success out of it. Oh, he's a knucklehead and all the rest of it. And then people online talk a bit of shit and you're like, I'm going to show everybody. Oh, and you need that. You need that fire. But then when you become a success and you become a champion even, and you've got money in the bank and you don't have to prove anything anymore, and all of a sudden that starts to taper away and starts to fall off, then maybe being in an octagon fighting savages that are still like that isn't necessarily the place.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's where it becomes difficult. That's why, we talk about why it's even hard for Conor to stay in a training camp and get ready for a fight. It's like, dude, you're doing training camps on yachts. There's guys getting ready for fights in their basement. You know what I mean? There's different levels to it when it comes to the mentality. And if you're not there and on that ready to die in there type approach, it's a dangerous place to be.
It is indeed. It is indeed. As is the subway these days. The subway, I mean, I don't even want to bring this up. Harrington and Brian, let's finish on a 4-shot. It's New Year's Eve. We'll have a little chit-chat amongst the boys. Harrington put this in at number 2. The Guardian Angels, a staple of New York City subway system.
I saw
since the 70s, are making a comeback for the first time since 2020 after a man burned a woman to death on a train. And I'm like,
what happened a second time?
Did it?
Some dude out in front of Penn Station, another dude got lit on fire. Like
when?
3 days later. It was recently, in the past few days.
Have you seen that video?
I saw the first one. I saw the first video.
Yeah.
Dude, mind blowing.
Cop just kind of fucking blowing it off was insane to me.
That's what drove me nuts. I'm like, dude, how do you not take your jacket off and try to
anything?
Something.
Try.
Grab the one, because I don't know what was going on with the lady. She was kind of like frozen. Like,
think about it, right? If you're, but that's the thing, Michael. Like when you're burning like that, if you're holding something, anything like you know what I mean?
Stuck.
Like you're just
melted to it.
You're melt. Yeah, you're literally falling apart. Your joints freeze up, and
So How did this happen? I mean, how did he set her on fire? And for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, some woman got
you definitely know what we're talking about. You've seen it.
Well, if you're on Twitter, you've seen it because of the despair and depravity and the loss of human life that you'll see on the For You section on a daily basis. But how did this all come about? Because that's what I haven't seen. I've seen the video. It's shocking, but I haven't seen what caused it. I mean, obviously, it was a guy. It was a dickhead.
Apparently he just walked by with a lighter and lit her clothing on fire. And it was just like, there was no accelerant. It was just making a fire on the clothing, and that fire spread quickly because it was highly flammable clothing.
And she was passed out, I heard, too. She was like sleeping when he did it, like passed out on the train.
Was she a homeless person? I don't know about.
She might have been under the influence of something, right? So that you didn't notice that first before it. Yeah.
So I said this to Rebecca. I said, maybe it was just some immature asshole thinking he was funny. And she was like, no way. Clothes don't go up like that. He must have used some kind of accelerant. But it turns out I was right. So he just walks past with a lighter, does that, and she goes up in flames. And by the way, I'm not making excuses for this guy. You know what I mean? But he probably didn't expect that to happen. But he should burn in hell, pardon the pun. But
no, I think he did expect it, because apparently he walked outside the train and sat there calmly watching her go up in flames.
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently the dude had been deported once before.
Yes.
Well, take that guy.
Wood chipper.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's no sentence too harsh, in my opinion. Simple as that. Goodbye, sayonara. Your time on this planet has ceased to exist. You're coming to an end, bro. You can't walk around setting people on fire.
Yeah, on subways.
No. Anyway, I was going to try and end on a bit of festive cheer.
I know.
Well, thankfully, the Guardian Angels are back, so this is never going to happen again.
Curtis Lee was going to be out there cracking heads.
I know, but that's the other that in itself is a whole hot topic, right? Of how, at what level do you interfere? And people are.
Well, look at this dude, Daniel Penny, right? Like he chokes out this crackhead who's like threatening everybody with a knife, and then thankfully they did the right thing and got him off, but he spent time in a bunch of time in jail for it.
Yeah,
but they did the right thing eventually. It took a long time, and a lot of left-leaning assholes were trying to persecute him and ruin his life and have him spend 30, 40 years in a prison cell. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. Anyway, I was trying to bring you all on for a bit of festive cheer and just say I appreciate all four of you. Anthony, it would be nice if Anthony was here as well, but he's not. I will reach out. We will touch base and we will speak, and hopefully we can get him back on the show at some point. But Paul has been brought into the fold of the Believe You Me family.
I've loved every second of it, fellas. I've loved every second of it.
And we've loved every second of having you. Brian Harrington, of course, you've been a part of the show for many, many years. I appreciate you both extremely. I really do. Paul Felder, come on, let's go. Give it up. Cheers to you. Cheers to Harrington. Cheers to Brian. Brian, what is the plan whilst you're in Austin, Texas?
I'm just going to go hang out, have some barbecue, go see some shit. It's going to be fun.
That sounds like a plan.
Last night, we smoked some baby back ribs for the first time on a Traeger grill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's a game changer.
I'm gonna go get some pulled pork and
it's a game changer. Hamilton, what's your plan for the evening or New Year's evening?
So I'm gonna go with Alex. There, some friends of mine are doing a show out in Pennsylvania. Sold out. Going to be just a fun night.
Okay, Felder.
Where in Pennsylvania?
Dojo of Comedy. Let me know if you want to come out.
Oh, wow, I'll be here with children, toasting grape juice, and I'll be drinking the real stuff. We've got some rye upstairs that I'll be getting into tomorrow.
Nice. Well, wherever you are in the world, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of me, Paul Felder, MVP, Harrington, Brian, Happy New Year. We'll be back with another show next Monday. Take care. All the best.